Welcome to Monkey Chatter. Before we get started, we have to say that while we think we are really smart, we definitely are not doctors, and you should not be taking our advice as medical advice. Everything we say on this show is based on personal experiences, and any guests we have on are not on to help diagnose or treat or cure any disease. Please reach out to your doctor if you have specific medical questions. And now that we're done with kind of the legalese of the show, we want to get on with the fun stuff. So carry on. Let's get down to Monkey Chatter.
Welcome to the first episode of Monkey Chatter. Who You Hang With Matters. I'm Amy, and we thought we'd do this episode a little bit differently. Instead of talking about ourselves and doing the introduction of who we are, we thought it would be so much more fun if we each talked about each other. We have spent a lot of time traveling in multiple places with each other. And so I'd say that we know each other pretty well. We've known each other for quite a few years. And so we'll just start off. So I'll start with, who wants to go first? You want me to go with Lara first or Michelle first?
Alphabetical. Do Lara.
Alphabetical. All right. So let's go with Lara. So my description, if I had to describe Lara, one of my first descriptors of Lara is Norm from Cheers. One of the very first times that I ever traveled with Lara, we went to a pretty large event, and like everybody just kept coming up. They're like, Lara, hugging, like all this stuff. And so I started to refer to her as Norm from Cheers. I don't think Lara has ever in her entire life met a stranger. She, I would say, also can find the good in anyone and any situation. Sometimes I'm like, seriously, Lara, like, no. Say no, get rid of them. So yeah, she definitely can find the good in any situation. She's also very zen. She's done some breathing exercises, I guess you'd call them, with both Michelle and I on some of these calls when we've gotten a little too swirly. And she's the one that can kind of bring us down a level whenever we're just a little too much. And one of my favorite stories with Lara, actually two favorite stories. One, I would say that she loves animals, and actually has a little foster pup right now, and little geriatric foster pup. But one time I was traveling with Lara, and she had a little dog, and it got out, and then it like proceeded to get out again, and the people were calling and saying that they had her dog. She's like, no, it's in my yard. And they're like, no, it's in our yard. So that's Lara. Again, Norm from Cheers is how I refer to her. And then Michelle. Oh, Michelle. Michelle is the one with words.
Lots of words.
And sometimes when I get a message from Michelle or I talk to Michelle, I have to Google what she's saying because my vocabulary is not that big. And the words that I would use to describe Michelle, and she'll refer to herself as this, is the loyal lab. Michelle will definitely, if I had to bury a body, Michelle would be the one that I would call, because she'd be like, find me a shovel. So she's definitely my little loyal lab friend. But one of my favorite stories about Michelle is that she is exceptionally directionally challenged. And one of the first times we traveled together, she walked out of the hotel room and turned the wrong direction, and I had no idea where she was going. She has also lost her car at a very large horse show and had to have the policeman drive her around to find her car, and I think may have even reported it stolen when it wasn't. So those are my stories and my descriptors of how I view Michelle and Lara.
All of those. I never
can
knew
hear Lara laughing the whole time.
Oh, I mean, I never knew that you called me Norm from Cheers. I might have been offended, but the way you described it was not offensive at all.
It was meant in a good way.
I'm like sort of an introverted extrovert. So like that makes me happy that that's the vibe you got. Oh, I love it.
Yeah, definitely the vibe. I definitely referred to you as Norm for a little while back in our days of working together.
That is very funny. I love that.
That is definitely how I refer to you.
Yes, I love that. I love that story about Amy taking a wrong turn out of the hotel door.
Oh, that was Michelle.
That was me.
Took the wrong turn.
Oh, you said I see. Cut that part. Yeah, I meant Michelle. I do that a lot though. I like confuse you guys, even though I don't think you're the same person. Obviously. I mean, obviously. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to start with Amy because her name starts with A, and that is the beginning of the alphabet. So my take on Amy.
So good with words.
So, like, this is kind of in a nutshell, but like, Amy is the most organized person I've ever met. She might even be a guru when it comes to organization and spreadsheets, especially. She kept us all in line when we were working together and still does. I also view her as an elite athlete.
Definitely not elite.
She, to me, is an elite athlete. And I also feel like she's like the health and fitness maven of all of us. One thing I love about Amy is she's also an animal lover and also now has rescue doggy babies. So, like, welcome to my world. And I love that you're doing that. And of course, a world traveler. One of my favorite things about Amy is that I'm pretty sure she took her nephew on like a international trip for his birthday, which is just amazing. So
yeah,
I love that.
That was high school graduation.
Oh, that's like amazing to me that you did that.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was his
what a great
graduation
aunt.
trip.
Like, you're like the best aunt ever. So I feel like she's the one that always keeps us organized. Like, she's going to find us the best hotel at the best rate. We will have all of our tickets, whether it's plane, train, cab, or terribly bumpy boat ride in Belize. It will all be organized.
Or a plane door in Belize that comes open.
Yes, and she will not let you fall out of the plane when it pops open on your way to the big airport. And even though I think she is super inspirational, she's like a health and nutrition coach extraordinaire, and she's super motivational. I think I said that, or inspirational. So if anybody can get me up at 4 a.m. to go run or work out or whatever you call it on an elliptical at a sales conference, it's Amy. And that did happen. So that's my take on Amy. And she is the most loyal friend ever. And she would do anything for you in a heartbeat if you asked her.
Maybe.
Yeah. Depending what it was.
You guys, I would.
Okay, there's probably lots more I could say. So moving on to Michelle. So I kind of look at like Michelle is the therapist I never had but wished I did. And like Michelle is like so easy to talk to, and I feel like Michelle is always really listening to you when you talk to Michelle. And like we'll have a conversation, and Michelle's the person that can pull out like this life-changing nugget of information from any conversation, and you don't even realize you said it or thought it, and then she's like, "Oh, you've just discovered the key to making all your dreams come true." And you're like, "What?" So she is a bioactive coach. I might have said that wrong.
Coactive. But bio sounds fun.
We might have to redo this. I like bioactive. Bioactive. I think we should change it.
Biohazard.
Coactive.
Yeah, more like that, right? A bit of a biohazard.
She's a coactive coach, which is perfect for her. And she is an extraordinary life coach. And she's always kind of seeking. I feel like she's a seeker, and she's also a wizard with words. She's a caretaker, and always consistently curious. Yeah, so that's kind of how I view Michelle. And also, as a travel companion, Michelle will be the one to stay behind when you want to go on some random boat ride with the bartender who claims he has a friend with a boat. And she will be the one to stay back, because if you don't return, she's going to send out the people to find you. She'll make sure you don't get kidnapped.
Yes,
That's my funny story about Michelle.
very true.
I mean, honestly, like Amy and Michelle are like the friends that you all wish you had and all aspire to be.
Oh, look at you getting all like,
Don't cry.
I know. Where's my Kleenex?
I hate
Michelle
to,
is definitely the therapist.
Yes.
That was
Amy
very
will
well
kick
said.
your ass into gear,
yeah.
and Michelle will make you feel like it was your idea in the first place.
If only I could do it for myself. Um,
Oh my
oh,
gosh.
it's so great to go last. I'm so excited. That was so fun. Wow. So Amy is the essentialist to my inability to create order out of chaos. Thank God for Amy. So Lara talked about Amy's organizational abilities. I feel like Amy has helped me hold my life together for a lot of years now. We've been friends for a lot of years and worked together a lot of years. So thank God for that. Um, you know, Amy and her dogs, I think, is the thing that has been most remarkable. So Amy didn't have any animals for a long time because she traveled a lot. And then she decided she was going, now is the time. And to watch her bring not one but two um, fosters into her world has been incredible. So when I think of Amy, I just think about her ability to make a decision and then act on it and just change her life in the snap of a finger, it seems like. So, and she does that with so many things. It's just amazing to watch. Um,
No more really clean house.
yeah, no, and that's okay,
Thought
right?
about
more-
that when you got those dogs. I was like, uh-huh.
No more vacuum lines in the carpet.
Right. None of that. But she decided, she took action, and when I think of Amy, that's what I think of. I was there for her when she first started her like fitness journey because she's an amazing fitness and nutrition coach now. And when she started that journey, I remember just like Lara going to the gym with Amy in the morning. And I don't even think you'd done a 5K yet, Amy. Like you
Maybe
were,
not.
no. And she just made a decision, and now it's like ultra marathons and Canicross, and it just, yeah. So Amy, you're remarkable. The other thing that's super cool about both Lara and Amy is, man, they have all the courage I do not. I will default to safety every time. Amy and Lara, not so much. So they push me into discomfort on the regular. So be prepared for that. Um, Lara gave me the gift of being one of my very first quote unquote clients. She was one of my first test clients when I started with my coach training. And I will never forget that because it was such a big ask. And that was before she had even, I don't even think you'd started doing any yoga at that point, Lara. And now, you're what, 200 hours certified. You own the Lexington Salt Cave. Like, you're another one. Like, I look at you and Amy, I'm like, oh my gosh, she made a decision, executed, and changed your life. So you two are like two of the bravest, most effective operators that I know. And to have you as friends just makes my life that much better, all the time. Like I can, and to get to share you with all these other people now, I just think is such a gift. I'm like, yay. So yeah,
I thought we were
my,
getting sentimental with these.
I
I'm not.
know, right. Well,
It's what I do.
We're just here to unclog your joy conduit.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Because it has been really clogged lately, but that's for another episode. But I think the two of you, yeah, courage, effectiveness, you take action, you get things done. So thanks for being my friends.
I love you guys.
Yes. We love you.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh. Funny.
Mm.
Yeah, Michelle went all sentimental.
I couldn't help it. I'm
No,
looking.
I was getting a little teary. I
I'm
was
like making fun of her for losing her car, and she's like,
I know. Well, I'm thinking maybe she took credit for me going to yoga teacher training. I'm not sure how that worked out, but I think that after my coaching session with Michelle,
Yeah,
I
just
did
one.
sign up. I feel like
you
because
remember
of that.
Oh my gosh. I remember talking to you about that. And yeah, it's amazing.
I remember being super inspired, and I was like, I'm going to do something.
And you did.
Oh, oops.
Michelle did not do something. She did not turn off her notifications.
What is that?
Did we mention that Michelle is technologically challenged?
Oh, all the
we
time.
Love her. She's really amazing with words and coaching.
But I cannot manage my technology. I thought I don't know what that is.
But that's okay. The magic of editing.
We'll get rid of that.
Yeah. So it's
I thought you were going to say the magic of the three of us is that it like all gels.
But that is true.
It is.
Yeah. I feel like we have we kind of do have different backgrounds, which is kind of cool too. Like we're from different parts of the country, not super different, like all sort of Midwest, East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, but different states. We grew up in little, different situations. And what's kind of funny about all this, and we've not even mentioned this, is that what brought us together was actually horses. Like we're horse girls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Horse girls have a special bond anyways. Like when customers come in the store and like they're obviously horse girls, like they have the boots or they have something, or like their email is like, I ride every day at gmail.com. I'll be like,
that's a clue.
Yeah. And I'll just be like, hi, welcome. And I'll be like, do you have horses? And they'll be like, yeah. And then they'll talk for like an hour. And I'm like, oh my God, I had horses too. Ah. And it's like, they're your best friend. So yeah.
Yes. That was the original.
But it's not a precursor to be our friend by any means, because I have lots of friends who are scared to death of horses. I almost said scared less, but I realized this is a PG podcast.
We can hit a beat button.
There we go.
So thank you for being my friend. Friends.
Like, won't you be my neighbor?
Hey, who you hang with matters.
Yes. Who you hang with matters. Yeah.
Yeah. We have been like friends for years.
Yeah, we really have. Like it's been a very long time. We have traveled. We have worked together. We've done lots of conferences. And a whole hilarious trip to Belize, which we could talk about in bits and pieces another time. And I kind of feel like we could actually just almost let this be our whole first podcast. But I kind of want each of us to just say, like, for 20 seconds, like what we hope to get out of this podcast. Are you guys down with that?
No, that's
way to throw
hard.
us on the spot.
Like on the spot. Totally on the spot.
What do you want to get out of this podcast, Lara?
I knew you'd put me. I knew you'd make me.
Well done, Coach. Well done.
Well done, Coach Michelle.
Say more about that, Lara. Yeah.
And Amy's thinking like, and think about what you're going to eat and how you're going to food prep for tomorrow. So I think what I want to get out of this is I want to share the kind of conversations that we have. We typically do this about once a month, and we've been doing that since COVID because COVID made it more accessible, I guess, to be on Zoom. And we just don't see each other in person anymore like we used to because all of our career paths have changed. And so like my thought was like, we have these wonderful in-depth conversations, sometimes funny, sometimes silly, but they usually do talk about important things that, we're in 3 different decades of our lives, but yet we can all look at different problems or different things that we want to address in our lives, things that we think will make our lives better. And we all have different perspectives on them. So I just feel like that information should be shared because we all bring different perspectives and we all have valid perspectives. So that's my goal, is just to share some of the stuff that we discuss that to me is super valuable. Share it with the world.
Huh.
Are you ready, Michelle?
Yeah. So what do I want to get out of this? I am such a curator of bits and pieces of information.
Mm-hmm.
And I the thing I love the most, I always talk about sparketypes. So we'll talk about that at some point, I'm sure. But um, I love to learn for learning's sake. And then the second piece of that is I just want to share it with people, right? Like I want to learn the thing and throw it out there. I don't really want to teach anybody anything, but I want to be like, hey, I read this cool thing about XYZ. Here's a little treat for you. You do with it as you will. So that has always been something that I really just get so much fulfillment out of, is being able to bring something to somebody that they may not have seen or heard about, and then sort of move on. Like I'm not really attached to the outcome of what happens to it. So it seems like, sharing our conversations, because, there's a lot more people I can drop little tidbits to. So I guess that's what I want to get out of it. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think mine is kind of along those lines. Like, I feel like, and again, I am definitely not the elite athlete that Lara described. I just like to try to run and do some stuff here and there. But I think for me, like, I always make the statement of like you better take care of your body because it's the one place you have to live. So if I can, I don't want to say inspire. That sounds like a really strong word, but encourage somebody to like start to take better care of their body through some sort of, through fitness. And fitness doesn't have to be like some crazy going to the gym at 4:00 in the morning. It can go, take your dog for a walk. So, and I think, so through food and fitness, if I can just inspire somebody to inspire is such a really strong word. Encourage somebody to take better care of themselves, and live a healthier life. I think that's probably, and again, like Michelle said, I feel like this gives us the opportunity to get to more people. I do a lot of one-on-one nutrition coaching and even some like small group stuff, but I feel like this is a bigger, broader thing. Hopefully, we have no audience people right now, but hopefully one day.
Share with your friends. Share with your friends.
Spread the word. Spread the word. And then I think the other thing, and we talked about this a little bit about how very different we are. We are definitely very different, but as you can tell, we get along like super well. So I think even like showing people that you can have different perspectives, you can have different takes on things, you can have different opinions, but you can still get along and be perfectly fine. Like you don't have to have like groupthink and everybody agree. Like we certainly don't have the same views on a lot of things, but we still get along great. And like these guys are some of my best friends, and I wouldn't trade them for the world. So yeah, that's what I would say.
Yeah. You guys are awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
How fun.
Yeah.
Okay. So
we just want everybody to live better and feel better. And if we can introduce people to a few little tidbits of how to do that, that's it. That's what it's all about, I think.
Yeah. Great question, Lara. So I'm going to say, if we haven't scared everyone away by now, if there's anyone still out there listening, maybe we should wrap this up and
we're gonna do this.
Save some fun stories for another time, and we'll get into some real topics instead of
all about us.
All of this. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
We'll leave all that on the table for people to just imagine the rest of it, and I totally agree. Let's get some bigger subjects on the table.
Yeah. Sounds good. Okay. Now should we
stay
do
tuned, right?
Monkey chatter, who you hang with matters. Do we end each show with a chant?
Chatter, who you hang with matters.
Monkey chatter, who you hang with matters.
If you liked our podcast and you want to throw out some ideas for stuff you'd like to hear us talk about, we are totally open to that. Shoot us an email.
Do you want to say what that email is?
Oh, yeah. Our email is 3monkeyswellness@gmail.com. And the 3 is spelled out. So it's 3, THREE, monkeyswellness@gmail.com.
Yeah. And you can like and subscribe. And give us a review, because that helps us grow our audience.
Unless it's bad. And if it's bad, email us privately.
Yeah.
We'll do our best.
If your
We're still going to do what we're going to do.
If your review is 5 stars, we want you to make it and post it. If it's less, just email us and say you hate us and you're never listening again. And we're still going to do what we do.
God.
All right, guys. This has been fun. I can't wait to do more of these.
Me neither. Signing off.
Okay. Are we done?
Monkey chatter. We're done. First episode done. DUN.